Hey, what's up guys, Will here for GSM Arena. In our iPhone XS Max review, we did a camera comparison with the Samsung Galaxy Note9, which many of you liked. We figured we might go into more detail in this dedicated video and pick a winner at the end. The iPhone XS and XS Max share the same cameras. On the back, this is a single 12MP f1.8 wide-angle cam and a 12MP f2.4 telephoto one, both with OIS. The Galaxy Note9 has a similar dual camera setup. However, its 12MP wide-angle camera has a variable aperture, which switches from f1.5 to f2.4. But like the iPhone, the secondary telephoto camera is 12MP at f2.4, and they all have OIS. Let's start off with regular daylight photo quality. Here, you'll notice that the iPhone has a more restrained and true-to-life color rendition, while the Note9's is more vivid and warmer. Our preference here goes to the Galaxy. Level of detail is comparable, though the iPhone does get slightly softer at the corners. Photos from both phones aren't noisy, in fact they're squeaky clean. We did notice that in direct sunlight the iPhone is more prone to lens flare. But what a beautiful lens flare it is. And with Smart HDR on, the iPhone does have noticeably wider dynamic range than the Note9, specifically in the highlights. Moving on to low light, the iPhone goes for a darker exposure, so photos are a bit darker than those from the Note9. The colors are again a bit drab and muted on the iPhone. Here the more saturated colors of the Note9 seem more pleasant. Again, photos from both phones are pretty free of noise, even in low light. When switching to the telephoto cam, the iPhone has better contrast and produces an overall sharper image. You can't use the telephoto in low light though, unless you force it through portrait mode. Both phones just crop from the output of the main cam. Speaking of the portrait mode, in good light both the iPhone XS Max and Galaxy Note9 produce nice images, but here the iPhone has the edge. The colors look better and there's a wider dynamic range. And just take a look at those bokeh balls from the iPhone. With the main cam, video recordings are quite similar between the iPhone and the Note9. The iPhone has slightly better detail in 4K footage. But at the same time, the Galaxy is a bit sharper in 1080p. This time around, the iPhone's overall color rendition is warmer and more saturated, but dynamic range is the same. As far as stabilization goes, both phones have it at 4K 30 and 1080p, though we do prefer the iPhone's extra smoothness over the Note9. When filming through the telephoto lens, the iPhone comes out on top, if filming in 4K at 60fps. Here there's considerably more detail and sharpness in the Note9. But zoomed photos in 1080p seem about on par. Moving on to selfies, the iPhone XS Max has a 7MP f2.2 front shooter, while the Note9's is 8MP and f1.7. Colors look good on both phones, though the iPhone is warmer and yellowish, and the Note9 is more pinkish. You'll notice that the field of view is narrower on the iPhone, making it a bit harder to fit everything into the frame. But that said, the iPhone handles bright lights better, and preserves highlights, probably due to the Smart HDR. Selfie portraits are quite similar. Subject detection is quite good on both, though perhaps the iPhone has the edge here. In low light, selfies aren't impressive from either phone though. The technology still isn't quite there yet. Let's do a quick recap. In both daylight and low light, we prefer the colors we get out of the Note9, but the iPhone preserves highlights a bit better, and this is true for portrait mode and selfies too. When zooming, the iPhone's telephoto lens takes a sharper shot with both stills and video. And speaking of video, they're about neck and neck. The iPhone has a slight upper hand at 4K resolution, and at 1080p the Note9 is sharper. So overall, I think we have to hand it to the iPhone, mostly thanks to its Smart HDR processing. But the differences are pretty small, they are both really great cameras. So if you're wondering which of the two phones to get, perhaps the camera won't be the deciding factor. Thanks for watching. Hit like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And you're always welcome to stop by gsmarena.com for our written news, reviews, and test findings. See ya!